Hello and welcome. In this match I am in the tier 10 Japanese carrier, the Hakuryuu. Since I saw that there was lots of carrier whining or anti-carrier whining going on Reddit, I decided to post a video about carriers. I'm not gonna defend anything here, I can't be bothered. I already learned my lesson that the moment I try to argue regardless of what I say, I'm gonna get downvoted, and posts in other subreddits are gonna get downvoted too. And you guys ruined a nice Murmansk video with it. Oh well. Anyways, this match does not have an opposing carrier, so it's just free hunting for me, and there are a ton of Tirpitzes, so they don't have any anti-air either. So this is a pretty good example. This is before the new patch though, so I still played carriers then. I decide to go for the Fubuki strike because this is domination mode, and Fubuki is pretty good on it since she does a lot of capping. Or well, could do a lot of capping. But she's dead now. I'll use my dive bombers to try to set the Tirpitzes on fire since they are literally alone without any cover, and none of them have anti-air, so I can just do whatever I want to them since they have no countermeasures to it. That's the weakness of the Tirpitz, namely the fact that she does not have anti-air.
Our team has taken the lead.
It's the reason why I dislike playing the class, I mean the ship. But since she gives so much money if you play her, I still play her. But yeah, that most other ships have stronger anti-air and they have fighters. Tirpitz has none of those. I mean, look at it. I haven't lost like any planes. The enemy team is doing the worst thing they can do against carrier in a match like this, and that is spreading out as far as they can. They have people near A, B, C, and D. So set him on fire again. Just confirm that it's on fire since I didn't saw it from up there. We need to make sure we don't cap too quickly, otherwise this kind of a paradise of a game is gonna end too soon, and I won't be able to get a ton of experience.
Group 4 returning. Group 5 taking fire. Group 7 ready. Group 6, we're under attack.
One thing I find a bit interesting that people seem to think that you should be able to do is be able to avoid torpedo bomber drops if you act correctly, which is a bit absurd in my opinion. I mean, if you can you avoid destroyer torpedoes when they catch you off guard? Of course not. So it's kind of the same with carrier bombers. If you are in a bad position from the point where the carrier planes are coming in, well, sorry, but you got caught off guard. In a cruiser, it's the same way. If a battleship is coming around the corner close to you, well, you are just screwed. There isn't anything you can do about it. Sometimes you just have bad luck. I'll try to set this Tirpitz on fire, since the Izuma died and the Izuma potentially had quite a bit of anti-air. But now that she's gone, it doesn't matter. I try not to finish off the Tirpitzes since there's little reason to do so in a match like this, as it will just make the game end a little quicker, which is just pointless. Less experience. I guess I should make a video about how experience is given out in this game. Essentially, the short of it is that it depends on the percentage health of the damage you deal. So dealing 5,000 damage to a target with 10,000 health gives you way more experience than dealing 5,000 damage to a target with 50,000 health. But tiers also matter, so it's not that straightforward. But that also means that hitting high tier destroyers gives you the most experience, most likely. Since damage is rather doesn't change from target to target as much, just the maximum health changes. I start going closer since there's nothing on this side of the map that seems scary, and if I wait too long, that other side might actually start catching up, which could lead to a pretty poor, well, not poor game, but it'll probably be very costly in terms of repair.
Taking fire.
Oh yeah, killing ships doesn't really give you anything either, so it's kind of unimportant. It's just the percentage damage.
Group 7 airborne. Waypoint reached.
Group 6, we're under attack.
Also, another thing people seem to not think about that much is the resource called time.
Group 6.
That's something carriers actually do lack. The analysis of the SEA server stats showed that I think it was battleships had the highest damage per minute value, or damage spent or the time spent in a game in terms of how much damage they dealt.
Battleship foundered.
Carriers were pretty poor at it, not as poor as destroyers though. Because destroyers are just bad and wargaming refuses to buff them. I think what wargaming really does in terms of how they decide what to buff and nerf is they have some kinds of percentage targets in terms of how many players they want for each class or even tier and class. And then they try to hit those marks with different buffs and nerfs, regardless of how it affects the actual balance of the game. So when destroyers are poor, but they hit their like 10% or 15% player base target, they see that no, things are going fine and that's how destroyers should be. So what I'm trying to say with that is that don't expect destroyers to get much stronger than they are, unless it's like an accident by them.
Group 5, maintaining present course.
There really isn't much to say about this game. I mean, if you watched my other carrier plays, most of the things I'm doing are outlined there. Just since these ships don't have any anti-air, just stagger out the attacks to cause the maximum amount of damage over time. And since we aren't going for like massive amounts of capping, just kill the players whenever it's possible. Getting the most out of the time spent is the best move, as it will most likely give you the highest return in experience. This is actually kind of a poor drop. I think it might have been a bit too close. Yep, one of those was too close.
Waypoint reached. Destination reached. Group 7 ready.
Group 3, we're under attack.
This match generally is a matchmaking failure, no? I mean, it's a tier 10 carrier against
Battleship destroyed. Group 7
Azal? That's like what they got in return?
Group 5, returning.
This shouldn't happen anymore, so be
Group
relieved
6,
of that.
taking fire.
Now it's just fighter wars everywhere.
Group 6, returning to ship.
Group 2 standing by for instructions. Over.
Group 3,
And now every opponent is spread out as much as they can. This is where the strength of carriers comes into play.
Standing by for instructions. Over. Group 4, ready.
I mean, if you look at the start of the game, carriers have an extremely hard time doing a good drop usually. If you stay clumped up like that, then it's still hard, but usually at the end point of the game, teams start spreading out.
Maintaining present course. Group 5.
And that's when carriers get powerful again. That's also when destroyers get powerful again.
Group 2, awaiting instructions. Group 3, target destroyed.
Cruisers and battleships get a lot less powerful though. Unless they still have a ton of HP, which they usually don't.
Group 3, standing by for instructions. Over.
Yeah, the main strength of the carrier is the fact that she can pick targets wherever she wants. That is, like you saw, even though there were like Zaos and stuff in this match, I just went for Tirpitzes kills and nothing else.
Maintaining present
And only now that there's a lot less stuff around, I start going for Atagos, but those are still 2 tiers below me.
by for instructions. Over. Group 4, return.
On top of that, I can pick out the targets that I can tell haven't been playing that well. I mean, okay, at this point it doesn't matter because, you know, I'm rather experienced with carriers. I kinda know how to deal with all the situations, but
Returning.
still, that's what you can do in a carrier.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
It's something you cannot do in other ship classes because
in sight.
you're essentially stuck where you can strike. I mean, you can do it to some degree, but not that much. However, playing carriers is rather frustrating,
We're under attack.
but most people don't know that since they haven't really played carriers for long.
Awaiting instructions.
But it doesn't matter really.
Group 6.
Anyways,
returning to ship.
I think actually that Tirpitzes kill was a mistake. I should have gone for the other 2 for more damage, rather more experience. Since the time is kind of running out, look at it. 910 points, right? 542. Let's see how long it will take until I can do a torpedo bomber strike. And my planes are already in the air.
Group 5, maintaining present course. All stations, concentrate.
And I am very close to them. Much closer than you usually would be.
Group 3. Awaiting instructions.
Group 7, taking fire. Group 2, standing by for instructions. Over. Group 3, awaiting
Took just a minute to fly from there to here. Whoops, messed up with dive bombers though. I want to use torpedo bombers on the top ship, although it doesn't really matter. I was hoping that I would be able to do more than one strike. So it took me a minute from the moment the planes were in the air. Actually, they were already flying towards this location to doing the strike.
Group 5. Returning.
But I mean, that doesn't take into account the flying back time, the amount of taking off and resupply of the planes and all of that. Really, time is a very limited resource on carriers. You do have to account for that. It's not something like other classes, but since this was a free reign game for me, I got 31 torpedo hits. I mean, yeah, there were against tier 8s that didn't have any anti-air, but still. 3100 base experience. This is a good 245k damage. And 500k profit. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then actually I don't know if you should subscribe, because I don't think I will be doing that many carrier videos in the future. Maybe, but at least right now, it's not so sure. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe, and thanks for watching.